Oh, before we get into today's video, I just want to say I want you guys to keep an eye out for the stuff after the credits for a small but important announcement for things upon natures of stuff. Anywho, intro credits for stuff.
All my life I've been considered as the worst.
After hours, drowsy stepping, hear the sermon, hold the reverend. Long distance relationships with 777s. Who'd have guessed it? Feeling washed up.
What's going on, nomads, party people, and strangers everywhere across the internet? My name is V, you know, like the letter, and today is finally a return to After Hours review. Not retro night, just the original. Because I know a lot of people just like, why talk about old movies? I want to talk about the new stuff. Well, guys, your wish has been granted because well, to you guys it's gonna be last night, but for me it was this night. Me and my adopted brother of Murray, who I don't know if he's camera shy or not, but well, he saw his hand. We went to see Ghost in the Shell today. Well, for you guys it was yesterday. Fuck it, time, whatever. Roll piece of the trailer. Now then, my whole thing with Ghost in the Shell, before we do that, let me just go over a small little synopsis for you guys. Take note, though, that this isn't like the 1997 animated movie or the series of Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex, or the sequel series of it, or of the anime sequel movie to the anime series that was basically a sequel to the movie from 1997, and the other film that followed suit in 1998, 1999. So many different 90s. Basically, the entire film starts off with basically our lead hero of the major coming up from a dead Japanese body to then be reformatted into something else entirely, because the government format that wanted her was from a company of Hanka Incorporated or something. I don't know if it was an corporation, something involving industries with corporate in the name, where they wanted to make her into a soldier. But after a year of working in Section 9 with all of her co-workers and with the big man in charge, all of a sudden the major is starting to feel a little bit suspicious about her identity, and after following suit on a man that's basically the pseudo laughing man, she starts to unravel a year-old mystery that kind of circles around her original time period and how she was as a person. Now, I know there was a lot of fuck-ups with my English there, but let's just ignore that and get with the professionalism. So, starting from the basis of what we all know from the whole trailer bits and what we saw from the character bits. Originally standing for what it was in its entirety, Ghost in the Shell's whole 2017 interpretation, I wouldn't say was the greatest live-action anime interpretation in all honesty and fair play. But that's kind of hard to stack up when you have Ghost in the Shell basically having a giant lore about itself that's been spanning for a good couple of years now. Everyone knows Makoto Kusanagi, Saito, Bato, Togusa, Ishikawa, and the Tachikomas. Everyone knows their lore, their backstory, and how to make them into the characters that they are, and we've seen them being kind of ripped off and parodied into certain things. The Matrix, the Deus Ex Machina, video games, everything involving media and whatnot. But I can't really say it was a bad adaptation. We've had bad adaptations, like Dragon Ball Evolution being the #1 worst anime live-action adaptation, because it was just wasted opportunity of telling a Gohan story, but decided to go with a Goku story. Very fucking dumb, very fucking stupid. But before I go into the whole dissecting and analyzation, I want to touch base on the #1 problem that everyone has with this big film. The whitewashing scenario. Now, I don't want to play devil's advocate to Hollywood about whitewashing, honestly, because I hate Hollywood. But I will say this though, this is one of those times where Hollywood didn't fuck up. I mean, literally, just take a note for a second. I'll even show images of Makoto Kusanagi's face and then Scarlett Johansson's face as the Major. Realistically, they kind of look similar. They are strong female characters, and they openly said throughout many different interpretations that Makoto Kusanagi, even though she has a Japanese name, may or may not be an actual Japanese woman. Her body just so happened to be of a Japanese woman in the animated series and the animated films. Plus, this is an American-made film that's trying to sell itself as a blockbuster to other people that don't really accept or really try to give credit or credence to anime as a medium. So throughout the entirety of what you're trying to do, sometimes you need to have that star power in order to bring out stuff away, so it's just like, that was a bad step, but it was a big enough step for bigger and better people to take the podium. It's not like that whole insert whatever whitewashing with stuff because you want to, like Iron Fist. It was literally something of, they went with the source material and decided to run with the best known course of action for what they had, which was, in all fairness, Scarlett Johansson. Mostly because she kind of resembles what the Major sort of looks like. Not in skin tone, but in just features.
Big ass guns and a big ass. Seriously, what the hell is that?
I like big butts and I cannot lie.
And whatever clip me and Karma decide to put up right after I just said that. But I'm just gonna point out because although I agree that whitewashing is a problem in Hollywood, it needs to stop. This is one of those times where we just need to just relax and just remember that the source material never once said that Makoto Kusanagi was supposed to be all the time Japanese because of her Japanese name. There are many people in history that have different names from different nationalities, and they're not their nationalities. So why the fuck should we all of a sudden throw whitewashing to this sort of thing in Ghost in the Shell when it's literally a story about trying to discover if you still have a soul if you're mostly machine?
You just blew my fucking mind.
Just saying, there's perspective. Now let's get on to the fun part, the analysis. On the technical side of things, the special effects, the settings, and everything involving the fight choreography was done pretty well. Like every single scene they tried to do shot for shot of the original 1997 film, I enjoyed. I studied each and every single moment of it, even when it popped up on screen, just like, they literally tried to make it seem like you were watching the 97 film all over again in certain parts. Even down to the gunfight with the giant spider thing that looked like a Minecraft ripoff. My brother's notes from what he was telling me. But in that aspect, that's also what was the biggest problem, where the whole effects sort of stuff kind of messed with a lot of people. Like, if you have a smidge bit of epilepsy in your system like I do, a lot of this whole holographic visuals will hurt your eyes from how they try to do Neo Tokyo with big holographic figures and whatnot. Aside from that though, the music was surprisingly well done for what they were trying to do with a co-production of American, Chinese, and Japanese entertainment industries in that giant trifecta, where it was kind of mesmerizing to just be caught up in every single scene where it was handled in a good way. If you wanted suspense, they hit you with suspense. If you wanted seduction in a big Yakuza nightclub, you got seduction in a big Yakuza nightclub. If you wanted just pure silence to let the moment fall, they had the silence fall like a needle. A needle in a giant fucked up haystack, where all you hear is nothing cause it's fucking hay. Anywho, aside from all that stuff though, every single kind of person I saw in the film really did fit their character, except for Bato. I still kind of feel angry that they couldn't get a sort of more heavy-set guy with a ponytail, cause that's what Bato is. And then when they finally showed Saito, I was kind of like, wait, where the fuck did Saito come from? I saw Ishikawa and Togusa, and that was about it, aside from Mr. Aramaki and Bato. So where the fuck did Saito come from? And why do you only wait to show up until an X amount of time away from the credits? Like, I'm just saying, if you're gonna have Section 9 as a huge part into what the Major does now, I think I would appreciate knowing every single operative that's coming back, including, I don't know, hints to maybe seeing the touch comas. Like, I love those little spider things. So I'm getting a little bit agitated as a fan of Ghost in the Shell, but I'm gonna reel it back in. Reel it back in. So aside from all that stuff, from just cutting up, dissecting it up, and just trying to put it all in its own little shell, with just the brain of the human and the body of the machine, what would I really just put this whole entire movie as a whole analysis thing as a critic? Well, I think for all honesty's sake, I would give Ghost in the Shell, from my own rating system and grading system, a 10.7 out of 13 for its effects, its action, and its pretty impactful way to adapt the source material to live action, but failing in dialogue, execution in its whole impact, and not really trying to go for the non-epileptics and the actual epileptics, because that still hurt my eyes to see some of those holograms. And in that regard, Ghost in the Shell 2017 gets a B+. Really? Really? Anywho though, that was it for just Ghost in the Shell, but man, I really want to see that movie again, especially since I couldn't see Kong Skull Island. Sad about that. But there should be some new movies coming into play, but what can I really say for you guys as of this moment that's going to come out that I will talk about soon? Because, I don't know. There are not a lot of movies that are hitting me hard for the next 2 months, so we're going to play this by ear for a little bit. How does that sound, guys? Good? Not good? Nah, fuck it. We'll just play it by ear.
We make them scream murder. Gunshot, put them down. You can't get murdered, and I'm taking his crown.
Hey, once again, guys, not gonna try and do the whole V thing. My name is Vincent B. Not gonna say what my last name is, because I don't think a lot of people really need to know about all that stuff about my business. I don't know if you guys know this, but doing all these things of after hours, retro night, it's a very hard struggle just to try and make sure I see all this stuff, take notes, whether it's from coming back from the movie theater to just have everything get digested, or just watch old movies, write down notes as soon as I can before it's lost from my mind and all that sort of stuff. But it is a full-time job as a critic to do all this sort of things, and I can't keep up all the damn time with every single movie that comes out every single month of every year. So I'm gonna do this that I never thought I would do about a single fucking review series of my life. So I'm looking for a co-host to take some of the load off of me for all these things of After Hours review, where if you guys see a movie, you have the right to make an entire video about it on the After Hours review label, as long as we're okay as a team to just be like, I saw this movie, I want to do a review about this, do you mind if I put it on my channel, put it on your channel, whatever. We can hash out the details about that later on, because I'm getting to the point where, since I'm getting older and busier, trying to make sure I do a lot of stuff with my own different shows, web series of stuff, flying out to different places to do projects, I need help. I need help. So if you're someone that likes to just watch movies, old and new, and you think you can help me out, let me know in my business email of thepyramidinn@gmail.com, and we can discuss some details about some stuff later on throughout whatever time I get the email. And if not, then just thanks for supporting me and watching my latest video. I'll see you guys later.